Shalom Israel. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. Today's lesson is going to be entitled, Today in the News, Pestilences. Alright? And, yeah, man. You got a lot of, I remember the Apostle Tahar was even going into, of how you had over there in St. Lucia, there was a cruise ship that was quarantined because someone had the measles. All right, which the measles or is known, as a Esau likes to give. Esau gave it a more sinister name. It's called the measles outbreak. All right, now measles, all right, is what is some type of it's some type of super virus to where they said there's it's basically stronger than any type of antibiotic. They don't have a cure for it. All right, so it's just I typed in a quick Google search on measles under the news chapter of Google, and you see here it says measles quarantine of Scientology shit started with one infected crew member. Doctor says, it's a Columbus brought measles to the New World. It was a disaster for Native Americans. Which is beautiful. Because, hey, man, how this place was founded upon the death of you so-called Native Americans, blacks, Hispanics, all right? So will it be ended? I'm talking about America, all right? Upon you so-called Edomites, man, all right? And this is supposedly how the New World was supposedly found, man, So this is how this new world is going to go out, man, which is beautiful, all right? And this is just like the scriptures say, this is the beginning of sorrows. All right. So reads on and says, what can stop the measles outbreak? Officials lean on an unlikely band of locals. Sounds like a good one. It says to fight the biggest measles outbreak in the U.S. in more than a quarter century, public health officials have tried robocalls, vaccination audits, vaccination orders, and $1,000 fines. This is a standard playbook, and it hasn't worked to stop the disease spread. Now, officials are increasingly counting on an informal network of community groups, religious leaders, and local medical practitioners. This is Blima Marcus, a 34-year-old oncology nurse practitioner, is working to counter anti-vaccination messages that have taken root in New York City's insular, ultra-Orthodox Jewish communities where measles has spread. Dr. Marcus, herself a member of an ultra-Orthodox community in Brooklyn, has gathered mothers in living rooms and written and printed booklets that challenge anti-vaccination assertions line by line. She wants to set up a hotline to explain the science behind vaccines and take questions. So Esau, he's running out of his wits trying to figure out, which the peons, let me say the average peons, are running out of their wits trying to figure out what they're going to do about the measles outbreak. Not knowing, little do they know, all right, that the Center for Disease Control, all right, that should tell you something itself, all right, they themselves orchestrate, these outbreaks, all right, they themselves orchestrate these outbreaks, man. Because one thing about Esau is very diligent in his wickedness. All right, so he chooses the right time, which there's no coincidence that this measles outbreak is going out at the same time of the turn of between winter and spring. Because anything about the turn between winter and spring, all right, is where a lot of people's immune systems are very volatile. All right, for the so-called pollen in the air. All right, so what a grand time to push this measles outbreak. All right, now it says number of measles cases increases in Southern California. That was 3 hours ago. And a lot of these articles I just read were between, 2 hours and a day ago. All right, well this one is 2 days. It says mom of 5 months with measles blames negligence of other parents for daughters' viruses. So it's going to get bad out here. It's going to get so bad that, people are going to be afraid to send their kids to school. All right? People are going to be afraid to send their kids to school. All right? A lot of places like I remember the Apostle Tahar, giving us wisdom, to stay out of public places. Because any given time, Esau can come down and regulate, and quarantine these public places. Okay? Now, I wanted to get into this word, pestilence. All right? So it says pestilence, which is a noun, is a thing. This is a plague and epidemic from the 12th century. So pestilences go back, go way back. And directly from Latin, pestilentia, a plague, and wholesome, and Salakia. I'm going to read it again. This is 1300s from the Old French pestilence, plague, epidemic, and directly from Latin, pestilentia, a plague, an unwholesome atmosphere. Noun of condition from pestilentum, infected, unwholesome, noxious, from pestis, deadly, disease, plague. Alright, and the scriptures tell us of these things, man. Alright, like it says right here, 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1, it says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which when you look the word of prophecy, it means to say before. In which our people, in which us over here at Great Millstone and those that follow in the same spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, we've been pushing prophecy. We've been telling you that pestilence, death, alright, because pestilence only leads to death, is going to come to this place. Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and they are true. Alright, and we give you this word, the Bible, which these words were written in paper. Alright, they were written down for us to know, alright, and to warn the people today. Alright, which is beautiful, man. These words were written thousands of years ago, and here we see them playing out. Going to show you that these words are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Why? Because these things will come to pass. Now, all of those that don't believe, well, they're going to die in their unfaithfulness. Or they're going to die in their unbelief. All right? And the ones that were scoffing at this word, the ones that scoffing at, that's not going to happen. Best believe through the Spirit, those are the ones that's going to receive it. They're going to receive it after death by pain, like the scriptures say. All right? You're not going to receive these words. Hey, you're going to receive the action behind these words, man. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. All right? And we go back to this word pestilence. All right? It says infected, unwholesome, noxious, from pestis, deadly, disease, plague. So the Most High is bringing plagues upon the world. He's bringing pestilences upon the world. There's stories about measles outbreaks over here in the U.S. All right? Like I was just mentioning over there in St. Lucia. The apostles yesterday, they did the video about it's outbreaks over there in Mongolia. All right, they had to quarantine a plane over there. All right, so it says, behold, I will bring plagues. Plagues are synonymous with pestilences or death upon the world. The sword, all right, because now the Lord is getting more specific and showing you the different ways He's going to bring death. The sword, famine, death, and destruction. Okay? The sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Okay? And, hey, the Most High is paying this world back for first and foremost what they have done to the Native Americans and really the Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He's paying this world back for the homosexuality it pushes. All right, for the pedophilia it pushes upon our kids. All right, for all the wickedness this place is pushing, the Most High is hey, your hurtful works are now fulfilled. All right, so the Most High is answering your call. Because this place is asking to be destroyed. All right, This place is asking to be destroyed. And on top of that, Esau is going to use it, we know, all right, to push, all right, vaccines, which we know vaccines, Esau is going to, marry that with the chip, all bringing what so-called safety, not knowing that it's really bringing forth more to your destruction. All right. So, you know, these things are happening, man. And you know, this is the just a little something else I had found, which is a spirit because it was already up here on my phone. It says CDC address ongoing measles outbreaks, May 1st, 2019, which that was like 3 days ago. As the number of confirmed measles cases continue to rise, the CDC is pulling out all the stops to emphasize the importance of childhood vaccination and prevent more people from becoming infected. You know? So now, as these measles alerts and these measles outbreaks happen more often, best believe that Esau is going to get more serious. All right. Oh, you're not vaccinated. You don't have the measles vaccine. Your kid can't go to school. You know. Hey, just like for example, you had more of the school shootings and stuff like that. Now they have something known as the Olives program, to where these officials in the schools, like the superintendents, or the principals. All right, now they're holding some type of special drills, man. For school shootings. So they're taking that more serious, being that these things are happening more often. So how much more with these measles outbreaks, man? But you can't stop a measles outbreak because Esau's pushing it in the air, man. It's airborne. Okay? That's why they got to quarantine a whole plane, all right, or a whole ship, just because one person has it. As the number of confirmed measles cases continue to rise, the CDC is pulling out all the stops to emphasize the importance of childhood vaccination and prevent people from becoming infected. Today, the overwhelming majority of parents choose to protect their children with vaccines. All right? And why is that? Because Esau pushes it on you, man. Get your vaccine. Get your vaccine. Now, yeah, I'm 24, and I remember even, before I could even go to school, like 4 or 5 years old, you had to get, certain vaccines, man, just to even go to school. I can't remember the name of the vaccines, but nonetheless, how much more now? All right, to where you have to get more and more vaccines, man, just to send your child to school. And if you don't send your child to school, because like let's say you don't want to, you know how dangerous these vaccines are. Guess what? You're now labeled as a terrorist. All right. So it says Azar warned of the potentially life-threatening effects of this and communicate in the communicable diseases. Most of us have never seen the deadly consequences that vaccine preventable diseases can have on a child, family, or community, and that's the way we want to keep it, he said. Vaccine preventable diseases belong in the history books, not our emergency rooms. Okay, it says as of April 26, Azar announced 704 cases of measles have been confirmed in the United States, the highest number in 25 years. And it's going to show you what time we in, man. Things are happening now to where it's more evident that we are in the last days, man. You know, we are in the last days. I remember 2 years ago, you had like solar eclipses and lunar eclipses happening back to back, to where before these things haven't been happening, in the previous centuries, maybe like 50, 30, or 100 years apart, man. The number of states with at least one confirmed case remained at 22, as had been reported earlier in the week, but new outbreaks were reported in Georgia, Maryland, and parts of California. That information was bolstered by a morbidity and mortality weekly report article released shortly after the briefing that summarized all measles cases reported in the United States this year. Following up on Azar's comments, CDC Director Robert Redfield, MD, joined the briefing to provide additional details on the measles cases reported to date. Most of the cases we're seeing in the recent outbreaks have been among people who have not been vaccinated, and most of those cases have been children under 18 years of age, Redfield explained. Although no deaths have occurred at this point, he added 9% of cases have resulted in hospitalization and 3% of patients have contracted pneumonia. Overall, said Redfield, about 94% of school-aged children who entered kindergarten in 2017 have received the recommended 2 doses of measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines. That means the majority of parents are making sure their children get vaccinated according to CDC's recommended immunization schedule. So this goes to show you that they're actually looking, at possible places that the measles outbreaks can show up, man. And I wonder why. It was a movie actually called Quarantine, so where they actually ended up quarantining this whole building. Esau pulled out all the stops, man. And that's what they're planning on doing now, man. They, like you said, they're gonna pull out all the stops to basically stop the vaccine outbreak. And as I read that and I speak on that, it makes me think of like different shows. Like I just started watching this show called Z Nation, which is called the comedy series, but through the spirit, I believe that we can get edification out of it, man. Because just like this show, like Z Nation, you got other shows like it says right here. People also search for Black Summer, Helix, The Walking Dead. A lot of these basically measles outbreaks and whatever these viruses and these plagues that were hitting the world in these shows, which these shows are also known as apocalyptic, sci-fi type shows. A lot of the times, it would try, be quelled by like a martial law. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times, it would be quelled by like martial law. That was saying, they would basically, they would try to quarantine off certain places. You see it in these shows, man. But eventually, as the show goes on, eventually, more people get infected. They turn into zombies. Which, man, it's saying with these measles, you could just drop dead within 24 hours, man. So it says, little synopsis, as it says here, it says several years since a zombie virus swept across America, there's only one person who goes by Jess Murphy, known to have survived the infection, the world's last hope at creating a vaccine. The last functioning viral lab needs blood from him for its antibodies, but the facility in California and the man is in New York. A ragtag group of strangers work to transport him to the West Coast, but his dark secret remains hidden, which could threaten everyone. It says, Hammond and his second in command, Garnett, initially lead the group of the living, later replaced by Lieutenant Warren, and computer hacker Citizen Z helps everyone navigate through the zombie-infested terrain. When the group meets a man in Colorado, he offers to take Murphy the rest of the way in California. When nuclear weapons are launched, people head into survival mode and become desperate to find a cure. So that's how it's gonna come. That's how it's gonna go. The more deaths, which means the more agitated people are gonna get, the less faith they're gonna have that things are gonna change. So guess what? Esau's gonna come with a solution, which is that chip, the RFID chip. All right. So the pestilences, all right, are a big thing. This measles outbreak could lead to something big, man. Lord willing, it does. Habakkuk 2:1. It says, I will stand upon my watch, and thus being a prophet of the Lord, as Habakkuk was, just waiting on signs from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and set me upon the tower. The tower was the highest point. You know what I'm saying? Looking onward, man. Where everybody down in the city is at a low point. you know what I'm saying, just living their everyday lives, we looking onward, seeing what's going on, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. What the Lord is saying unto us is, hey, prepare for all hell to break loose real soon. Okay? And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that read of it. So we're writing the vision and making it plain upon tables. Which is also why I brought out, the different shows like Z Nation and, Black Summer. Black Summer is a real good one too. The Walking Dead. These, and they even got video games, man, out, Like they actually just came out with the second the Division. And I think they have a second part 2. All right. To where same thing, man, a virus outbreak, you know what I'm saying, cause great pestilences, great deaths, in which Esau tries to quell using his military and using the sword. All right, but it doesn't work out. So hey, this is all happening for a reason, man. And like I said, going back into the scripture said that he may run that reader fit, man. And these shows, I like watching these shows. It puts you in the right mindset of how things are gonna be. One other thing I noticed in that show Z Nation. One other thing I noticed in the show Z Nation. All right, is how you even had a people were ruthless, man. All right, you even had a man, you know what I'm saying, a man, him and his family, 2 little kids, his wife. They were like sticking people up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be that bad. Because, if people are being quarantined and things are being quarantined, there's not going to be no food. All right? Which means people are just going to get desperate and start robbing people and looting. So, hey, this could mean the beginning of sorrows, like the scriptures say. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. All right? And this is, hey, man, being that this is happening, like in the beginning of the year, things were getting crazy. You know what I'm saying? Many things were happening. Many things were happening, man. We've seen a lot of articles about the RFID chip. You had the government shutdown to where people were beginning to feel it, and then things kind of quelled down for like a month or two. But now things are picking back up right to where it started. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Okay? So it's not going to tarry, man. And when it comes, hey, it's going to keep rolling, man. So Lord willing, hey, it's the beginning of something serious, and it's just something to, warn the Akim, the hopeful elect out there, you know what I'm saying, and stay tuned to what's going on, stay in the spirit. So with that, shalom to the elect.